What's up, Bulldogs? All right, I'm going to try to record this one more time. I've got such a nice background here. It's just such a nice evening to record a video. But this is one of those videos that has to be the video laxative. All right, this is the term I use for videos where I just got to warm it up and get back out there and start talking. And if I don't just talk how I want to talk and not worry about the outcome, then I can't make future videos and I become stifled, right? So this is, you could think of it as writer's block. And this is how you overcome writer's block, is you just record something and you don't care about the outcome. So I do have something that I did want to talk about in this video, which is related to what I just did. So I just ran up this mountain, Black Mountain back there. Wow, it doesn't look very impressive in the background with this lens. It looks like a little hill, but trust me, it's pretty tall up there. It really is. But anyway, I ran up there without stopping, which is quite a feat, and it's something that I've done, in the past many times before, but I haven't been able to do pretty recently because my endurance has dropped down. I haven't trained as hard. I gained some weight. I'm about 250 pounds right now, and I talked about this before about kind of being frustrated with running and having expectations and stuff like that, but that's not what this is about. Instead, I made it to the top of this, and the reason why I was able to do that, even though I wasn't before, was because I made one simple shift in the way that I started training, or the way I was looking at this whole thing, which made it inevitable that I would accomplish the goal. And I want to share that with you because it's something that can help you immensely, right? If you make the shift, and if you see this real simple truth that we often ignore, right? And so the simple change that I made was I just had my schedule of running 5 days a week, and I just made the focus of my running, instead of distance, instead of time, I just made it on just trying to get as much elevation as possible, right? So every time that I would go for a run, if I had a chance to go up and run up something, I would run up it. Now, I didn't focus on time, and I didn't focus on, did I make it all the way to the top? If I couldn't run anymore, if I felt pretty uncomfortable, I tried to push it as far as I could, and then I would just stop running and I would hike up the rest of the way, okay? But I would go up that elevation. And that was a simple change that I made, but it made it, if you think about this, it made it inevitable that if I continued to do that, obviously, at some point in time, pretty quickly, I would be able to run all the way up to the top of a pretty high peak, okay? And in fact, if I continue doing that, I'll be able to run up higher and higher mountains and be able to get faster and faster at doing that because it's obvious, right? Now, the thing about that is that it's so obvious when I say this, yet how many times in life do you have this obvious solution to your problem, but you don't apply it, right? So many times in life, all you really have to do is think about what is the thing that you're trying to do, and how could you make it so that you can't possibly fail? And if this sounds familiar, it's because it's exactly what my GAP framework is based on, right? I have this GAP framework, goal, aspiration, process. And the idea of this is that we have an aspiration, which is something that we want to achieve that's not in our direct control, right? Something like making $1 million, or getting 100,000 YouTube subscribers, or even losing 30 pounds, right? That's not in your direct control, all right? But we take that aspiration, and from that, we figure out a goal that would make it so that if we accomplish this goal that is in our direct control, it would be pretty much impossible that we wouldn't have achieved the aspiration as well, right? So, for example, if you wanted 100,000 YouTube subscribers, which I did at one point, I had a goal of making 2,000 videos because I didn't think that there was any way that I could make 2,000 videos and not have 100,000 subscribers, and I was right, okay? So I came up with a process, which was to make 2 videos a day, 3 on Sunday, and to do that for 2 years, which I did. And long before then, I hit the goal, I hit the aspiration. I was able to accomplish that, and I've done this multiple times in my life. But the real principle behind this is which I'm talking about in this video, is this idea that, look, no matter what it is that you're trying to accomplish in life, all you have to do is break it down to one simple metric, one simple thing that you're going to go after. In fact, this is not even a super original idea. This was talked about in what is that business book? I can see it in my mind. I'm not thinking of it right now, but it'll probably come to me. It talks about the hedgehog principle. Yeah, I'm not getting it right now, but I'll think of it at some point. Anyway, it's not a completely original idea, right? But it is one that I came up with for myself, and it's because it's obvious, right? Again, a lot of the things I talk about in these videos are obvious things that you would figure out on your own. I'm just really reminding you of something that you already know, and that's probably why a lot of you guys like these videos, is because it's like, duh, once I say it, but it does help to have someone say it. So anyway, the idea is that all you have to do is figure out one metric, one simple thing that you can focus on. And if you focus on that one metric, then you'll achieve that result eventually, right? And you'll increase in that area. So for me, the metric was running a bunch of elevation. I didn't even measure the elevation. I just made a focused effort to increase the amount of elevation, right? If you want to lose some weight, if you want to lose some fat, and you want to gain muscle, all you have to do is to make your metric grams of protein that you eat. Try to eat as much protein as possible and watch what happens. Now, again, it's not going to guarantee that you're going to become a bodybuilder or that you're going to become jacked or ripped, but it will make significant improvements in your physique just by doing that one thing, right? So there's so many things in life where if you just focus on one metric and you just focus on that thing, that you're going to achieve the result, right? Especially when you're talking about making money in business, right? If you want to be successful in business, you have to figure out, well, what is the thing that you need to do in order to be successful in business, right? Depends on what your business is, right? If you're creating a YouTube channel like I am, and you want to get views on your YouTube videos, then you got to keep on creating videos. So you have to have some kind of metric around that. And it doesn't have to be the number of videos. It could be the watch time. It could be, the amount of time that you put into each video, right? There's a lot of different metrics that you could potentially choose and pick. And if you just focus on improving that metric, other things will improve as well, right? Some people call these first order effects and second order effects, right? So if you focus on one first order effect, then you can get these second order effects. But man, this sunset is just wonderful. It's like, it doesn't even matter what I'm saying right now. It's like, this is such a beautiful video. I just love it, but it's getting a little dark, so I guess it's going to get a little bit, a little bit fuzzy, but it is just amazing as it is right now. So anyway, if you get what I'm saying, basically what it means is this, is that whatever it is that you're struggling with right now, there is a simple solution to it. Okay, it is way simpler than what you think it is. It's not shifting and trying all different strategies. It's not that, because you're going to waste a lot of time trying a bunch of different strategies, right? Whatever it is right now, just pick one metric and just focus on that thing. If it's number of YouTube videos, number of Instagram posts, if it's words that you write per day, if it's protein that you track, if it's number of miles that you run, okay, whatever it is, I want you to just pick one metric. Okay, and just focus on improving that metric and see if everything else doesn't improve or if you don't reach your goals. I guarantee you that you will. The problem with that is that many times it's so simple that we ignore it, or it feels boring, or it feels like a grind. We don't want to do that one simple thing. But there's so many complex things in life that you can take and you can make it super, super simple by just taking it down to the one variable. Right? And again, does it make it the most efficient way to accomplish a goal or to solve a problem? No, it's not the most efficient way. Not by any means. Right? I mean, you could come up with much more complex. For example, I gave you the bodybuilding example. Is just measuring your protein the most efficient way to improve your physique? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? It's a matter of increasing your protein, getting the right workouts, right? A bunch of other things that you would take into consideration. However, it's simple. And if you do that, it's a lot more effective than whatever you're probably not doing right now, because it's too complicated. And that's usually what the issue is. And here's the thing about this as well, is you can take this one metric idea and you can see it through to it has diminishing returns, right? So at some point, for example, let's just take my example here of running up these mountains. All right, if I continue to run elevation over time, just focusing on running elevation as a metric is not going to improve my running. At some point, that's going to cap out. And what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to focus on endurance. I'm going to need to actually run more miles and more length of time in order to make forward progress. But as long as I can still make forward progress by just focusing on elevation, it makes perfect sense to do that. In fact, when as a side note here, right? If you're familiar with running, in fact, is this the wrong? I don't think this is the one. No, this is not the run. But last year when I was doing this, okay, I focused on running up trails. That's all I did, because I just enjoyed running up trails, right? And I was just doing really, really hard workouts running up trails. And what ended up happening was that I signed up for this half marathon, okay? And my goal for a half marathon has always been to get a 1 hour and 45 minute time, okay? Which is fast, all right? That's a pretty fast time. Well, I've never been able to get anywhere really close to that, maybe 1 hour and 50 minutes, which is still fairly off. But after running up these mountains for, like, let's say, I think it was 3 or 4 months, I went and ran this half marathon and I blew away the time. I got a 1 hour and 43 minute time. So even though that wasn't what I was focusing on, but I focused on that one metric, right? And that allowed me to have success in other areas. And so, like I said, what you can do is you can take this one metric and you can push it as far as you can get it. And as soon as you stop getting results and you start getting diminishing returns, then you might shift to another metric. But this is a very simple and boring thing. I promise you, if you just think of this right now, you should always have one metric that you're focusing on. And if you have that one metric, and if you do this for the next 2 months, report back to me and let's see what the results are. I'll see you tomorrow.